The group stage for the 2022-2023 Champions League is finalized. Now it's time for me to go through every group from A to H and give my predictions on who I think is going to make the round of 16, while also specifically focusing on the Canadians playing in this competition. There are 5 Canadians playing on 4 different clubs, so this should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys are excited, and if you are, as always, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub, and let's get into my predictions now. We are going to kick off this predictions video in Group A, and Group A already has a Canadian featuring in it. It is former Canadian national team captain Scott Arfield playing on Rangers, and this should be an interesting group. Rangers had a fantastic season last year in Europe. They made it all the way to the Europa League finals, where they unfortunately lost in a penalty shootout against Eintracht Frankfurt, but they made it through qualification this year, and they're looking like a team that can impress. Scott Arfield is still a big part of this Rangers side. Yes, he's not a starter anymore, but he frequently comes off the bench and he looks very good this season already. When looking at the rest of Group A, you have Ajax, Liverpool, and Napoli, and this is a challenging group. In 4th place in this group, I am going to put Rangers, unfortunately. I just don't know if they have enough quality to be able to make it through. In 3rd place, I'm putting Ajax, which would get them Europa League football. In 2nd place, I'm putting Napoli, making it to the round of 16. And in 1st place, I'm putting Liverpool. Rangers had an incredible run in Europe last year, and it would give them confidence as well as experience to be able to look to potentially go into the round of 16 this year. They're going to back themselves to take points off of both Ajax and Napoli. If they can do that, they can find a way, or at the very least get into the Europa League. I would like to think that they're able to do it, but I'm a little skeptical because I really rate Napoli and Ajax, which is why I put them in 4th place for my prediction. Moving along now to Group B, there's a total of 3 Canadians playing in this group on 2 different clubs. The clubs in this group are Porto, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, and Club Brugge. Stefan Eustáquio is the lone Canadian on FC Porto, and Porto will definitely back themselves this season. They had an incredible historical season last campaign. They look like one of the favorites to maybe make it out of this group, and Stefan Eustáquio will definitely have a role to play. Eustáquio has mostly featured as a substitute this year, coming off the bench and trying to make an influence on the game, but with a ton of competition coming up for Porto in the league, 2 cup competitions, and the Champions League, there's a chance that Stefan Eustáquio will have the opportunity to feature very soon. Considering how Eustáquio has been used so far this season, he probably won't start any matches against Atletico Madrid or Bayer Leverkusen, but there's a huge opportunity he could start against Club Brugge, which would lead to a very juicy matchup against Tajon Buchanan as well as Kyle Larin. When you first take a look at Club Brugge, you're probably going to think that this is going to be a tough group for them. They are a talented side. They came off winning the league title last season, and they got 2 Canadians that will hopefully play a big role for them. Ever since Tajon Buchanan moved to Club Brugge, he's been a starter, mainly featuring in a 3-5-2 system as a left wing back, while Kyle Larin has mainly featured from the bench. Both players really like the project of Club Brugge and like the opportunity that they could play in the Champions League, and now the moment is here. Especially for Kyle Larin, he hasn't been able to take any of his opportunities yet this season, but he chose Club Brugge specifically because of Champions League football. Hopefully he will live up to what we know that he can do and will get a few opportunities to feature and potentially score. As for Tajon Buchanan, this Champions League campaign could be massive for him. Since moving to Club Brugge, he's been a locked-on starter. He features pretty much every single match when he's fit, and this is an opportunity for him to shine on the biggest level. If he wants to take that opportunity to move to a top 5 club, shining in the Champions League, being a productive player, and being a very useful player can go a long way. So maybe Club Brugge doesn't get the result they want, but for a potential future move for Tajon Buchanan, this is the opportunity to shine. Now in terms of how I think Group B will finish out, in 4th place I've put Club Brugge, in 3rd place I put Bayer Leverkusen, in 2nd place I've put Porto, and in 1st place I put Atletico Madrid. I don't think there's any denying that Atletico Madrid have the experience in this competition to be deadly. I think after seeing what Porto did last season, this is a huge opportunity for them to make it to the round of 16. Bayer Leverkusen have not looked good so far in the Bundesliga, and I think that they will struggle in the group stage, and they will be lucky if they're able to hold on to that 3rd place Europa League spot. As for Club Brugge, they will be playing with no pressure. They know that they are not the favorites to get in the top 3, but they have a lot of quality on this side, and if they might be able to overtake Bayer Leverkusen and sneak into a Europa League spot, but if they show up and just knowing how this competition is, maybe there's a chance that they can sneak into the round of 16. Heading over to Group C now, we run into our 5th and final Canadian in the form of Alphonso Davies. Davies became the first Canadian to ever win the Champions League when he did it with Bayern, and there's a good opportunity that Bayern could go on a big run this season once again. Despite losing Robert Lewandowski, Sadio Mane has been an excellent replacement and is even more of a style of a player that Nagelsmann likes to have. He's been implementing his system all season long and they look unstoppable. But it's not the last that Bayern will ever see of Robert Lewandowski, because they will take them on this season. As Group C contains Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Inter Milan, and Viktoria Pilsen. When looking at this group, in my opinion, it is the group of death, and it makes it very hard to figure out where the top 3 will finish. All very quality clubs, but if you're going to get my prediction, in 4th place, I put Viktoria Pilsen. In 3rd place, in the Europa League spot, I put Inter Milan. In 2nd place, I put Barcelona. And in 1st place, I put Bayern Munich. The way that Bayern have been playing so far this season makes me believe that they are going to walk over this group. Now, this is a quality group, but they're just playing at that type of level. I think that they will pretty easily finish in 1st place. Barcelona, with all the new signings, there's a lot of time for them to try to mesh together. Very quality side, and having a striker like Robert Lewandowski will always get you goals. Same can be said for Milan, who brought back Romelu Lukaku. He's looked incredible already this season. They are a deadly team as well. I just think that Barcelona have a little bit more to them. And really, historically, in the last decade or so, Italian sides, besides Juventus, have really struggled. That includes both Inter Milan and AC Milan. And unfortunately for Inter, I see them sliding into the Europa League. As for Viktoria Pilsen, I think that they're just simply going to struggle. They'd be lucky probably to get a point off of some of these tough sides. And in all honesty, if another Canadian is going to go on to win the Champions League, it's going to be Alphonso Davies with Bayern Munich. Moving along to Group D now, we went from the group of death, in my opinion, to the group of life. I think that there's a huge opportunity for just about every club in this group to make it to the round of 16. Group D has the defending Europa League champions Eintracht Frankfurt, Tottenham Hotspur, Sporting, as well as Marseille, the biggest club out of pot 4. I think 2nd place in this group is wide open, and it makes it very difficult for me to rank these other 3 clubs. However, in 4th place, I went with Sporting. I think they lack a little bit of experience in this competition to go on a deep run. In 3rd place, and going back to the Europa League, I have the defending Europa League champions. I think Eintracht Frankfurt will put up a good fight, but in the end will just slip out. In 2nd place, I went with Marseille. I think they're going to take this competition very seriously. They saw how difficult it is to qualify for this, finishing in 2nd. Monaco in back-to-back years finished in 3rd place and got eliminated in the qualification rounds. I think there's a lot of quality in this Marseille side, and it's why I see them just getting into it. And finally, in 1st place, I went with Tottenham Hotspur, another club that I think will be dialed into this competition. They have Antonio Conte doing wonderful things with Tottenham. They just snuck into the Champions League, getting that 4th place position last season. They're playing exactly how Conte wants them to play. They look very good, and I think that they will top this group, and the other 3, honestly, are open for debate. Taking a look at Group E now, I mentioned how Italian teams have struggled in recent history, specifically Inter and AC, and I have Inter Milan slipping into the Europa League this year, but not the case for AC Milan. I just think they have a very reasonable group to be able to make it to the round of 16. Group E contains AC Milan, Chelsea, Salzburg, and Dynamo Zagreb. For my predictions, in 4th place, I went with Dynamo Zagreb. I think this will be an uphill battle, and they'll be lucky if they can sneak into the Europa League position. In 3rd place, sneaking into the Europa League, I went with Salzburg, a very talented club who's done really well in Europe in recent seasons. I just don't think they have enough quality to compete with the top 2. In 2nd place, I went with AC Milan, the Scudetto winners. I think this is the season they return to the round of 16 and can put up quite the fight in this group. And finally, to top the group, I went with Chelsea FC. Very talented side, definitely the favorites in this competition. Thomas Tuchel have led them to win it a couple seasons ago. Probably should have beat Madrid out last season before that collapse. And this is a team that's going to be looking deadly once again and hopefully going to go on a big run. Group F has the defending Champions League winners in Real Madrid, and they look very likely to move on to the round of 16 once again. Along with Real Madrid, Group F contains RB Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Celtic. Now for me, this is a very straightforward group. In 4th place, I went with Shakhtar Donetsk. A lot of their team was picked apart due to the ongoing war. It's a shame to see, but I'm hoping that they can have a decent showing in the Champions League, but unfortunately, I don't see them getting into the Europa League. In 3rd place, I went with Celtic, a very talented team that I think is going to be able to tip Shakhtar Donetsk and compete with Leipzig for that 2nd place spot. But I went for them in 3rd place going to the Europa League with RB Leipzig getting that 2nd Champions League position, which leads Real Madrid, the defending champions, to get 1st place. Real Madrid had an incredible run last season. It was a fairy tale way to win the Champions League. They've won it more than any other club in the world, and they're going to be backing themselves to do it again. Going from the club that has won the most Champions Leagues to a club that hasn't won a single Champions League yet, but probably should have, is Manchester City. Manchester City is always one of the favorites to win the Champions League, and they are in Group G with Sevilla, Dortmund, and Copenhagen, and they're expecting to top this group once again. And just like Group F, Group G is pretty straightforward for me. In 4th place, I went with Copenhagen. I just don't think there's enough quality there to compete with the other 3. In third place, going down to the Europa League, I went with Sevilla. Now, they are serial winners in the Europa League, and there's a chance that if they finish third, they could go on and win that competition. In second place, I went with Borussia Dortmund. They're a little bit all over the place this season, but there's a ton of quality in that side. I think it'll be down to Sevilla versus Dortmund to see who will finish in second place and go to the round of 16, but I'm backing Dortmund to do it. Which leaves Manchester City in first place, as they should be. They have a transfer market value of over $1 billion. They need to be one of the teams to go deep in this competition, and I think right now in this group, they should probably be able to do that. On top of that, they took Borussia Dortmund's best striker in Erling Haaland, so that will be a nice little reunion there, similar to Robert Lewandowski going back and playing Bayern Munich. Taking a look now at the final group, Group H, which contains PSG, Juventus, Benfica, and Maccabi Haifa. Just like the last two groups, this group is pretty easy for me to predict. In fourth place, I went with Maccabi Haifa. Again, the quality is just not there with some of the other big clubs in this group. In third place, I went with Benfica. I think they will be able to battle with Juventus to sneak into that round of 16, but I am backing Juventus to finish in second place. They have so much quality in their side. There's a bit of a turnover in players so far, but I think there's enough there to get the job done. That means in first place, I have PSG, and they look unstoppable as well right now. Mbappe, Neymar, Messi are on another level. They have the quality to push, and similar to Manchester City, they will be targeting their very first Champions League. Now, to end off this video, I am going to take a look at groups A, B, and C through a Canadian men's national team lens. We are going to talk best case scenario, and when looking at Group A for Rangers, I honestly think the best case scenario is for them to finish in third place. There is a ton of quality in this group, and if they can sneak back into the Europa League, they can hopefully repeat a special run like they had last season. For Group B, best case scenario for Porto would be to top this group, and I think they can. Atletico Madrid is a tricky nut to crack, but if you can figure them out, you can take advantage. And if Porto can go through these 6 games and playing the type of football we know they can, topping the group is not unrealistic. As for Club Brugge, I think it would be similar to Rangers, finish third place, go to the Europa League, and hopefully go on a nice run there. Finally, in Group C, it has the big hitters, Bayern Munich and Alphonso Davies. Now, there's no denying this. They want to top the group. I think they will top the group. They want to go on to win the Champions League, and I think that is a realistic goal, bare minimum semifinals. So there you have it. Those are my 2022-2023 Champions League group stage predictions. Let me know how you think I did and if you agreed with me or not, specifically around how the Canadians will do. That is all the time we have for those, so hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you did, as always, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub as well. We've hit our goal of 50,000 subscribers. The next goal is 100,000, so if you want to help us get there, dropping a sub will definitely do that. Also, be sure to subscribe over to One Soccer for all the best Canadian soccer coverage. My name is Josh Deming. Thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers, friends.